Hello, welcome to the All Things Boro podcast. This is episode 43. I'm Alan, as usual. I'm joined by Tom and Simon. Boys, how are you doing?
I'm doing
One of you?
pretty good. Quite,
Oh,
quite.
good start.
I'd call it a bittersweet weekend after a nice win at Dover. But can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
froze
yeah.
a bit there. I told you it's that haircut. It's
Okay,
stopping
yeah,
the airways getting through.
it is.
Those eyebrows and all.
Honestly, yeah, I'll get a trim soon. But no, yeah, good bittersweet weekend after a lovely win at Dover, but then losing Aaron Cool. But as a weekend in general, nice weekend. How about you, Simon?
Yeah, not bad. Thank you. Yeah, I'm up in Loughborough working this week. I just had a half a day today, which is good. So
Yeah. We all
unexpected
know,
half a
we
day.
all know what your days are like, Simon.
Yeah, happy days. Happy days. Can't all be as can't all
Half
be as
days and no
fortunate as
days.
me.
That's all time. That's all you
Can't all be
do.
as fortunate as me. Just a part-time worker. As I did say to you earlier, I prefer the term sort of casual worker rather than part-timer.
Yeah, very. This is very. It's called a very casual worker,
Well,
Simon.
I still get paid, so I don't care. No, they don't.
That's true.
If
That is true.
if
Yeah,
they decide they want to waste 2 days doing a league argument, that's down to me. I don't care. Yeah.
That's it.
Um,
We ultimately we are jealous, Simon, about of your job, and I will be forwarding particular episode to your bosses anyway.
yeah, he automatically sends yours to the junk mail. Don't worry about that. I've told him. It's all spam. It's all spam, boss. Don't anything from that criminal hostler. It's it's all spam. You
Criminal.
get rid of it. Don't click it. Don't click any links. You know what I mean? He'll, he'll,
Right.
he'll have 3 grams of coke arrive on your doorstep with the police waiting for you if you do that. So just don't click the links.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Right. Let's get our guest in. We've got a very special guest tonight. We are pleased to be joined by the former loanee from Aldershot, Hady Ghandour. Hady, good evening. How are you doing?
Evening, very well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's going to be good to talk about my time on loan and yeah, looking forward to it.
Good, good. And how's training going so far with Aldershot?
Yeah, it's going really well. I mean, obviously we lost last week at York and we got an okay result on Saturday, 1-1 against Solihull, who were just above us. We'll take that.
Yeah.
I think our last 5 home games, we've picked up 13 or 15 points. So we'll take that. We'll take that form. But yeah, training's been good, lively, fun, and just counting down the days to see hopefully where we're finished and hopefully it'll be as high as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
saw.
started on Saturday, didn't you, get Eddie?
Yeah, it was my
That,
first start
yeah,
at
I was just say
Aldershot.
first
Yeah,
start. Yeah.
so
How did it?
yeah.
How was it? It was decent. You played 90 minutes, or did you go off?
I played 70 because
Yep.
I mean the gaffer always usually takes off one striker for another at like 65, 70. So that's
Mhm.
kind of the rotation.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, no, it was a tough game. They were kind of in a low block, just kind of sitting deep. So it was tough to break them down, to be fair. We got through via a penalty. So we'll
Mhm.
take that all day, to be fair, nick a point.
I saw a clip of their goal, Solihull's goal, and I think I can
Looked offside, no?
confirm it was. I think it was definitely offside.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
it
got a
was.
nice still. I've got a nice still shot of the
Yeah,
moment it come off one of their players, and it was definitely
it was
offside.
probably offside,
You
but
count yourself unlucky.
it's okay. I mean, we've we've been lucky, I guess, this season sometimes as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I read. I read and saw Tommy's post match press conference, and he said he was. He said he's a bit. He felt like he should have won. Really had more chances and things. And but
we dominate. I think we had like 59 or 60% of the ball. So we did dominate the game, and
yeah,
we just weren't really, like myself included. I had a good chance with a header. We just weren't really. It was one of those days where it just wouldn't really go in. So
yeah.
it happens. It happens.
What's it like? What's it like playing up front with Tolai? He's a good player, isn't he?
No, I mean I've known him obviously the whole year because we've trained and from preseason, but me, I felt like we did well. We played pretty close together, and we had a good relationship from the off, I'd say. So hopefully more minutes to come together. Yeah,
Yeah. What's Josh Stokes like as a man, as a guy and a player? Decent, yeah.
hasn't changed one bit. Just the same guy that he came in the summer. Just nice, humble guy.
Yeah.
Loves football, and yeah, just a very nice, sweet guy. Just
Yeah.
hasn't got an ego about him, and
That's good.
yeah,
You think
great guy.
he'll do well at Bristol City? Do you think?
I think he will. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he will.
I think he was. Well, I
big-
went
it's-
to the sorry,
It's a
I'll
big
let you
jump
back.
for him, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but at the same time, I think he's 19, or I think he's 19,
Mm.
and like the way he uses his body, you can tell the way he shields the ball, the way he absorbs the contact and drives off it. He'll be all right at that level, if not
Yeah.
higher. I think so. He's got the vision as well, and yeah, he had the right coaching all year, and the move was perfect for him in terms of him getting loaned back,
Mm.
because this level is very hard, so he will be well conditioned and ready for the champ. I'd say obviously it's another beast, but
Yeah.
he'll be all right up there for sure.
I think that's a good club for a young player as well, Bristol, in terms of bringing them through. I've got a few players in the Premier League that they've brought through the last few years. Alex Scott, especially, another non-league former player.
Yeah. Now Bristol's a good place to earn your stripes in the champ for sure and move on definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the Ebbsfleet game a few weeks ago. Now we won 1-4-1. You came on after with about 20 minutes.
Yeah, when we had the red card, for 20
yeah,
minutes.
I thought you did really well. To be fair, I was chatting to the guy next to me. He said who's this Hady guy who's coming on? I said, oh, he's really good. He's really good player. We had him at Farnborough. He's banged the goals in, and he was quite impressed by the end of the game. So actually, you're right. He's quite good. So yeah, he is.
I was tired that game because we
Yeah.
had the sending off, and I just felt like I kept running and running.
Yeah, you were doing a lot of donkey work. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I was
You
tired.
and you and Kwame up front, weren't you? So
Kwame, exactly.
keeping hold of the ball. Yeah, he did well. It was a good game. I enjoyed it.
No, thank you.
He did well.
Right, so before we carry on with with what's going on at Aldershot and your time at Farnborough, why don't you go through for us and for the listeners what led you to Aldershot? Where were you before? Where did you start with your football career?
So if we're talking way back when I was 16, 17, I actually was at Tooting and Mitcham. That's where I started my career. I was still at school. I wasn't good enough to go pro, to be honest, at the time. So I knew that Tooting had a good youth program there, and luckily they wanted me. And I played from 16 to 18, under 18s and under 21s. At 18, I got promoted to the first team. Spent from 18 to around the end of me being 19 to 20. I got offered a trial at Charlton, which is pretty late for a pro life. I got offered a trial at 20, and I got signed at 20. Spent 2 years at Charlton. Got sent out on loan in my second year to Maidstone. Won the National League South with them. Signed my year contract at Maidstone after that year in 2022, and then the injuries just started coming. I had 2 surgeries that year. I had one career-threatening surgery at Charlton, which was very bad. It was in my head, so that was like touch and go if I was to play football again. But luckily, the surgeons allowed me to continue. So yeah, I signed for Maidstone from 2022 onwards. Terminated my deal, I think, in March of 2023. I just had the injuries. I was out for the first 3 months. I had a double groin inguinal repair. And then I had a left groin tear and had another operation on my hand with a broken bone. And so we just decided to terminate my deal. My agent had already made contact with Aldershot at the Maidstone Aldershot game, because we knew that we were kind of heading to an end with Maidstone. So yeah, I have to give a lot of credit to Terry Brown at Aldershot. I mean, it was a gamble with me because I was pretty unproven. I would say I still am unproven apart from my loan. So it was a great gamble that I have to give big thanks to the gaffer Tommy and Terry for having the trust to put me on a contract and take me on. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's my career as to date.
What you said about your surgery? Is it actual surgery on your head?
Yeah, so I had no one really knows, but I had when I was at Charlton, it was pretty much a shock. I had like blood over my right side of my brain. I don't know what it was from, but it was some sort of trauma to my head, they said, the doctors. So I had emergency surgery. I trained all the way up until the day I had surgery, which was pretty crazy because that could have ended pretty badly. But had the surgery, then I was out of contact football for 6 months, but I could do my individual training, which was a big help. So I came back in pre-season of 22 with 21-22 with the first team at Charlton. I did really well. I got a goal against Reading at the Medeski and got an assist against Palace at Selhurst Park. And then it was the time where Charlton they had the Danish owner, and they really were trying to go for for promotion, but they just signed like loads of players. We had a huge squad at the time, I remember. So I just literally got phased out, and literally that's when I went to Maidstone on loan, and that's where I won the league below the National South, and then it just went from there.
Yeah.
Were
It
there
sounds like your time.
conversations between you and the manager at Charlton that this was going to happen?
No, so the manager at the time was Nigel Adkins, who was really good with me, to be fair, and he was a top guy. He was always, in contact with me in terms of like around the training ground. He'd always say hi and well done, this and that. But I think he had so many people in the squad that I guess I could say he didn't really care about the fringe 23s players who were coming in because he had bigger players to deal with. So he told me, I think I remember he told me when I left that he'd be following this and that, but in the back of your mind, they just have too much to deal with and too many players to deal with.
Yeah.
I pretty much knew that my chance was over at Charlton pretty early on, to be honest. So
Yeah, it sounds like you've had the sort of the typical sort of young footballer's nightmare, haven't you? Really, having injuries and then getting overlooked because other players have come in, and it's sort of it's a bit of a shame, isn't it? It happens to a lot of players, but you've done really well where you've gone 'cause you've gone down a couple of levels, done well at Maidstone, obviously got a title under your belt, and then you've ended and you're now rebuilding back up again, aren't you? So I hope that's the way you see it, because I certainly do.
yeah, I mean, even the most recent loan to Farnborough, I mean, it wasn't even. I think I had 3 clubs because I spoke to the gaffer Tommy before I went on loan, and he told me there's 3 clubs interested. I forgot who they were, but the minute he said Farnborough, I'm not just saying it, but I said, yeah, obviously I just want to go straight to Farnborough because geographically, and I know that the stadium's pretty good with the stand behind, and so it was a no-brainer for me just to go straight to Farnborough, and I knew I just had to get minutes under my belt, which is a big thanks to Spencer and all the management for again trusting me to play me pretty much every game apart from the Dartford game from the start. So
Do you live quite local to Aldershot then?
I live in South London, so it takes me like 45 minutes in the morning, 1 hour on the way back. It's chill, like it's not. I don't mind it at all. I just put a podcast, listen to music.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know a good podcast if
You
you're
can
looking
listen to
for
our podcast.
Yeah, I'll listen to this one. It's out.
Yeah,
I listened to my the Shots Pod one, so I'll listen to this definitely when it's out.
most people you just ask to go to sleep to at night, so it's quite different.
Go on, Tom.
Do you find that winning the title with Maidstone and National South, even if it was, let's say, a limited role, do you think that really helped you did that open your eyes to going further in football and success?
Yeah, I mean that was tough because obviously Maidstone they attract big crowds. So in the running, obviously I was coming off the bench until Jack Barham got injured in the last third from last game against Chelmsford at home, and then I had to come on for the whole second half, and I scored like 5 minutes in. So I mean, we had like crowds of 4,500 at Maidstone, and it was pretty tense. So, but at the same time, you play football to play in those kind of environments. You don't want to just play for like mid-table dead rubber games. You want to play in the games where the crowd is tense, the crowd's getting behind you, you feel it. And the silverware is a special feeling, no matter what you win. I mean, the National South is a good title to win, so it does spur you on. I was definitely very motivated, but obviously you can't control, well, maybe you can, but the injuries just started piling up for me. I was playing through a pain, even in the promotion season, for like 6 months in my groins, and it took a while for us to figure out what it was. And then when it was figured out, I think I had overcompensated a lot elsewhere in my body, which started to leading to other injuries. So no, definitely silverware. It's an addicting feeling to win. So you always want to win it. It's a bit dangerous if you don't win and you want to win. It's a dangerous intensity to have, but I love it. So.
Go on, Tom. Did you have something else then?
No, not right now. No.
So, what have you found the biggest difference between like the National League and the National League South? Bearing in mind you've obviously played for both Aldershot and Farnborough now. So what's the biggest difference that you found?
Obviously, there's a step up, I'd say, in individual quality in opposing teams. There is a bit more brilliance, if you want to say. There's also the sense that everyone's a bit sharper because teams are full time pretty much, training every day, and there's a lot more analysis, I guess, that goes on. It is just a faster tempo as well. You have a bit less time to think, I'd say.
Hmm.
Although in the National League South it is pretty hectic.
Yeah.
I would say it is a bit just a touch faster in terms of players and speed of the game. That's pretty much the main difference, I'd say.
And you were
You've
training. You were
obviously,
training with. You were still training with Aldershot. Sorry, Tom. You were still training with
Yeah,
Aldershot as well as Farnborough as well, were you?
yeah. So that I was training with the boys at Farnborough whenever we had training, which was whenever the gaffer would call it, which is usually Wednesdays and sometimes another day. If it depends if we have a 2 game week, then it's hard to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
in training because you need to focus on recovery. But I was in Aldershot. I was in contact with them every day, like when to come in, when do you want me in. I was kind of pushing it because I wanted to keep training and keep my sharpness because I felt like it was leading into my games very well, and I did feel really good
yeah.
in games. So um, yeah, I was training full time at both teams. So
And they
it
must have been
was
keeping they must have been keeping an eye on you as well. They must have had maybe sent people
yeah,
to come watch
always.
you play.
I know Terry Brown came, the director of football came a couple of times. I know the gaffer would always like check my score and stuff and watch the
Yeah,
highlights. So yeah, they were sharp with me and were on top of it. So yeah, they were
it's
great,
good. It
great with
kind of shows you as the player, even though you're out on loan. It shows you that they have got a bit of a sort of a serious thought towards you to being part of that Aldershot squad.
yeah. No, it was very encouraging. I mean,
Yeah,
every time I scored, I'd get a text from management or one of the boys or on the group chat. So I knew
mm.
everyone was following. It kind of pushed me to do better and more. And I felt like obviously now the boys at Farnborough are like 3 points off the playoffs, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, we are
I,
currently
I
now.
had a
Yeah,
feeling that, when I was there, we could push for it. Obviously, we got a couple draws, but every game there was like an urgency from everyone and me just to get a goal. Like the game at Hampton, I think when I scored last minute, that was a big relief because I felt like we should have won that game pretty confident. We were all over them, I felt, but yeah, just there was a sense of urgency because I knew that we had a good enough team to make a push for the playoffs, and it's been translated now. I mean, you guys are 3 points
yeah.
off, so
Yeah,
hopefully, fingers crossed, you can step in and make your mark.
yeah.
Uh,
Go on, Tom. Get
Hopefully,
in.
with you've represented Lebanon internationally. I have a few questions. How did that feel, maybe in comparison to winning a title in terms of sort of pride? And how did sort of maybe the level with training and those international games? I know you played against South Korea in a World Cup qualifier.
Yeah,
What was the level like that adjusted to the non-league football and maybe the preseason league games, Charlton?
yeah. I mean, first on the question of pride, I mean, it's no, it's a way bigger honor to represent your country. I can't really describe the feeling because when the national anthem goes on, you kind of just you get goosebumps and it's a bit surreal that you're representing your country in the last round of World Cup qualifiers. I mean, I'd never imagined. I did dream of it, but I never imagined it becoming a reality. I know it was a one-off, and I'll definitely be back at the national team. Fingers crossed, assuming I'm healthy and I keep doing well,
yeah,
hopefully. But it's a different feeling. That winning a trophy is one thing, but representing your country is like a whole nother level above, I feel. Unless it's like, no, I mean, for me, representing my country is the biggest honor of them all. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of the difference in games, I actually feel like games at higher levels, I suppose, like Championship, Premiership, and International, I find them a bit easier because they're a bit. It's weird. You have a bit more time on the ball. I feel you're not always pressed. Pitches are better, so
mm.
your first touch is usually better, and yeah, it's I don't know. I personally found it a touch easier. Like that preseason with Charlton, we played against Dartford and Welling in preseason. Um, I felt like those games were like 100 miles an hour. But then when we went to Reading and Palace, I was like, I feel really good in these games. I don't know. Maybe because I had got my sharpness in preseason in
Yeah.
those games. I don't know, but I just felt like those games were a bit, the intensity's still there, but the quality is like 10, 20 times more. So I
Yeah.
feel like that it's a bit sacrificed in terms of you getting pressed because the quality's so high. So maybe the intensity of pressing is a bit lower. I don't know. Obviously, you get the teams at the high level who press at a very high intensity, but yeah, that's how I felt. South Korea was obviously I came on for like 10, 15 minutes, I think that game.
Yeah.
That was we almost actually equalized, which would have been crazy. Um, but that game was like a basketball game. I think I only touched it a few times, but that was very high level. I think the Hwang Hee-chan played. He got the assist for their goal. I think he's at
Yeah.
Wolves. Kim Min-jae, the Bayern Munich centre half, is playing.
Yeah.
There's just you can tell there's a different gear to those guys. They've just been in that high level environment for so long. They see passes and the way they execute passes and plays is just a different
Yeah.
notch. That's the main
What's
main
that? What's
difference.
that like then when you're playing against or for or with players of that sort of caliber?
It's when you're coming on or like when you're approaching the game, you're thinking, oh, bloody hell, like I'm playing against these guys. And then
Yeah.
once you get on, you don't even really think about it, to be honest. Like you just think about what you're going to do. Hopefully, when you get the ball, what position you want to pick up. Um, what position you want to pick up to get on the half turn to play your wide man or something like that. You don't really think about it when you're actually playing. You think about it in terms of like if tactically the way we want to press them, for example, if I wanted to press this centre half, you want to show him more on his left foot. They're all capable on their weak foot at that level, but
Yeah.
whatever you can extract, um, you want to extract. So if I'm thinking, let's say this centre half, I'd want to push him onto his left foot because his passing will be less accurate and he's more likely to turn over the ball if I press him that side. That's the main way you think about those games when you're facing
Yeah.
these players.
Cool.
And how many
Yes.
caps have you got so far then for Lebanon?
I got so that final round qualifiers for the 2022 World Cup. I got called up 4 times and I only made one cap. I only had one cap.
Okay.
So when I was getting called back the second and third times, sorry, no, after the third or fourth time, I just had a chat with the gaffer at Lebanon at the time. He's not there anymore, and I was like, look, like I've come every time and I don't play. I don't really know why you called me up. Obviously, it's a big honor, but if you want to call someone up, you can call a local player from Lebanon to come
Mm.
sit on the bench. I mean, I've lost my spot at Charlton because I come here and I don't play. So what are they going to watch? Nothing. Which is
Yeah.
fair enough. That's the industry we're in.
Yeah.
They had nothing to look at from me. Like, what I'm on the bench.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm on the bench at national team, but what? I'm not getting any minutes. It's of no use
Yeah.
to them. So I just told him, look, like I need to focus on my career here. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm basically definitely going to get released from Charlton because I've just haven't been in the building for 2, 3 months when called upon for EFL trophy games. Um, so I need to basically excuse me. I need to stop coming. I need to focus on my career.
Yeah.
And he was fine with that. He said basically I don't. He said that he wants me to gain experience and stuff. I didn't personally understand that, but it was a great experience. But I didn't personally understand it because you're in the final round of World Cup qualifiers to get to the World Cup. I don't think you bring anyone in from abroad to gain experience. I
Yeah.
think you bring anyone in to play them and give them at least 20 minutes a game. If I had
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
20 minutes a game, it would have been all right. I think maybe I could have nicked in with a goal, got a
Mm.
chance, or did well, or changed the game. But I didn't even get a look in at all, and ended up getting released from Charlton because, as I said, I think we had 2 or 3 EFL trophy games where I was going to be a starter, but I wasn't in the building and I was on the bench. So fair enough, my spot was taken, and it went from there.
Yeah,
How
it's
hard was that?
difficult.
That must have been really hard to have that kind of conversation with sorry, Simon, with a national team manager.
It was, but it was also easy at the same time because I knew I had to take that step. Um,
Yeah.
there was one call up where I regret. It was the FIFA Arab Cup in Qatar. We played in all the World Cup stadiums and everything. It wasn't in an international window though. So Charlton, we sat down with Charlton and we were like, look, I've gone and I haven't played. Maybe it's best that Charlton say no to this call up, which we did. And that was probably a mistake because I would have got minutes and got really good exposure there. So
Yeah.
that was one thing I regret looking back, because my time at Charlton was pretty much done at the time. It was in January of 22, I think, or 21. I forgot, to be honest. But um, looking back, my time was done. I probably should have just went and given myself exposure. But at the same time, when you're at a club like Charlton, you know, such a big club, you want to believe that you're going to come in with a chance with the first team. So I just
Yeah.
agreed with Charlton and I said, you know what, let me stay in the building. Let me learn from my mistake from, maybe it wasn't a mistake, but let me learn from 2, 3 months ago and stay in if I'm needed, be called upon. But I wasn't called upon. So it is what it is. That's football.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame you had to do that, but yeah, I understand what you were getting at, really, because you got to make
Yeah.
a choice, haven't you? It's a long way to travel. It's
Yeah.
not like it's around the corner, is it? You know,
Yeah,
right
exactly.
back down the motorway,
Exactly.
you know. But what I was going to, I was
Exactly.
just going to bring the conversation back to Farnborough, really, because I'm a bit one-dimensional like that.
No worries, no worries.
I was to say our season this year has been a bit of a, I'd say, to put it politely, it's been a bit of a slow burner. And we've but I have to say, since you came in on loan for those couple of months, we well, it seemed to kickstart our season. I think since you were there, our form has got a lot better. But obviously, you've departed since, and we've carried it on, which is really good. But
Yeah.
is that the way? Is that the way you see it, or are you sort of slightly
Yeah.
different?
So in my first game, I played 65. I was on a restriction. It was my first minute since my hamstring surgery.
Yeah.
So I was kind of feeding myself back in. I think I was okay considering it was my first minutes in a long time. But I wasn't at the level I knew I could be at. I think Cooley scored the penalty to win us that game 1-0.
Braintree.
Yeah, Braintree. And then we had the Havant double header on Boxing Day, New Year's Day. That game, I felt like even before the game when I scored that left foot volley, I was like, yeah, I feel good today. And the boy, I knew we had a good team, and obviously haven't had the AstroTurf, so we could play a bit more, which we did at Havant. And even though we lost to them on New Year's Day, I did feel like we were getting somewhere. I started to gel a bit with the boys. I felt me and Aaron Cool, who just got recalled, had a good little connection going. I mean, whenever he'd get on the half turn or turn out, he'd kind of know where I was straight away, and I could be in the channel and we could get up the pitch, or we could link me and him to feet. So I did feel like as the games went on, yeah, we got a lot more stronger as a team. Like for example, the Hampton game which I alluded to before, and then the Chelmsford game, who were second. I mean, if you look back, that we conceded a poor goal at the time. It was a header, free header, but we could have easily, for example, won that game. You could argue, yeah, maybe they were on top, but we went toe to toe, and if not more, with second in the table and Hampton, who were in the playoffs. That was when I was like, because I didn't know I was going to get recalled at the time. I was like, we definitely have to push for the playoffs here. We have a great team going and good chemistry. We got to keep pushing. So yeah, I did definitely feel that, you know, we had built up a good bit of momentum. Obviously, my goals were a big help for me and the team, I guess. I had so much confidence that I went into every game just thinking I was going to score. And yeah, I was scoring like 1 out of 2 chances pretty much every game, I'd say. I wasn't getting like 5 a game. So yeah, I'm just happy I was clinical. And yeah, we definitely built a lot of momentum, which is carried forward now. Boys are doing really, really, really well. So I'm really, really happy for the guys. And yeah, hopefully you can keep pushing on into the playoffs.
Do you think
Yeah,
your play style sort of, because you mentioned with Cooley on the half 10% of ball over, do you think the way Farnborough played, especially with, let's say, with Aaron and the players you had at the time, do you think that suited the way you played? I'd say you're a strong runner
Yeah,
and very composed in front of goal. So
my game. I would like to say I can do both, running behind and come feet. But with Cooley, like for example, if he was to get it on the right side of the pitch, I knew I would automatically position myself sometimes a bit opposite him, because I knew he had that ball over the top into kind of a diag ball into the other channel.
yeah,
And I just knew that, for example, if he'd take a touch forward just to do a little double movement to come feet and receive it off him, even JT, when he'd kick it from his hands, he'd look for me. I just
Like the Chelmsford
ruffled.
goal.
Yeah, ruffle. If it, I mean, that one went straight through, which was great. But even if they just went straight to me, just little buy something or little nudge of the defender, hold it up, and we can play from up there. Just those stuff, I think, helped a lot. Yeah, it was a lot of. I got to understand the team a lot as the weeks went by, and suited me great. Yeah, the team did, look to play off me as a focal point, which kind of helped me a lot as well. I was way more involved in the games, and yeah.
Is there, do you think, a sort of player you model your play style after? Because I read that you're a big fan of Lewandowski and Cristiano Ronaldo. Do you think
Yeah,
that
I mean, it's mainly I'm boring. It's mainly just Ronaldo. I don't really sit and think of anyone specific that I model my game off. I think I just play whatever I see, to be honest. I love Ronaldo just because I guess I'm in the same boat as him. I didn't get to playing the game because I was naturally, obviously you have to have a bit of natural talent, but I didn't have bags of it. I had to work hard, and what got me in the door at Charlton initially is actually my fitness, because I was playing at Step 4 non-league, and we wear the GPS stats. I was highest in pretty much all metrics, so I think that's what opened their eyes initially. So that's why I relate to Ronaldo a lot in terms of hard work and fitness and dedication, and then most recently goals.
Yeah. Do you think mentality? Do you take after his mentality? Is there sort of a unique mentality you take into games? Maybe like an ethos.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when you're not scoring. It's hard to stay positive, but when you are, it's not hard to stay positive. You go into every game thinking, yeah, I'm going to score today. But in terms of mentality, the main thing for me was just coming back from all my injuries, because for 2 years I didn't really have a consistent run of games, and it would be like every 3 weeks I'd pick up something. So the main thing, and it wasn't like I had 4 pretty major surgeries, so I just had to condition myself to come back and keep going, because I could have easily just stopped playing. Like it was getting a bit silly, to be honest, with my most recent injury in terms of my hamstring. So I didn't really know what was going to happen if my loan wasn't successful. Thankfully, it was. Um, but the mentality thing is mainly just football's a lot more down, feeling down and downsides than upsides. But the upsides are so big and so nice that it makes all that worth it. So it's just about staying positive, stacking every day as it comes, working hard and doing what you have to do every day, not what you want to do. And you'll get to a certain point where it just clicks. And thankfully it did for me for a month and a half or two, and hopefully it can keep going.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So have you, with all the injuries and surgeries that you've had, have you had to like sort of adapt to the way that you train or stretch or is there anything that you've
Yeah.
adopted to help
Yeah.
aid
So
recovery a bit quicker?
yeah, the most recent one, my hamstring, I had this year so last year it was the groins. This year it was the hamstrings. I had a lot of like issues with them. So I did a couple of blood tests. I paid a bit of money to see a nutritionist, and we saw what I was lacking. And I'm now taking supplements to give my muscles the right nutrition which they need. Um, in terms of the gym, I'm doing a lot more resistance band stuff, kind of hamstring related stuff, not heavy weights. I was doing the heavy weights because I had to load my legs again after my surgery on my left hamstring. But now that I was okay, it was more medium reps, probably 5 to 6 reps hamstring work with minimal weight, just to get that range in and get that muscle firing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't drink, I don't obviously smoke, I sleep. My life is dedicated purely to football. So
Yeah.
these injuries, when they were coming, I was like, what am I doing wrong? And they just kept coming. And I just thought, maybe I can do a bit better in some aspects, which is why I saw the nutritionist and um, saw people externally during my rehab, to keep on top of my hamstring. I was doing a hamstring testing system, getting my hamstring scores, how much force I can exert from my hamstrings, trying to keep the left and right hamstrings more in balance, because that will obviously reduce the risk of injury because one will overcompensate less, for example. A lot of stuff went into my rehab, to be honest, because of the last 2 years, we really just threw the kitchen sink at it, and thankfully, as of now, it's working, and I hope it stays the same. I mean, I'm gonna stay consistent with it. I've always stayed consistent, so hopefully, it stays
Yeah,
the
well,
same.
hope so, Hady. Hope it's hope things continue the way they're going, because I think you'll be
Thank
right.
you.
You're a bit like me, Hady. Really, life dedicated to football, except I'm watching it rather than playing. But
He likes he says this all the time, Hady. He likes to compare himself somehow to a professional footballer, but
Yeah.
he's got the girth of what an ex-footballer would look like.
yeah, I don't like the term girth. To be fair, it's just not. It was a family show, remember? But I was even watching me in the
But
shower. But anyway,
going
my role models in life are sort of Maradona, because I feel I see myself as a kind of the similar height to Maradona, just sort of maybe
and
slightly fatter.
that's where the similarity ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe a few habits as well, but beyond that.
Yeah. If you ever, you know all about that, Tom, now, wouldn't you? Yeah, your uni life's catching up with you, Tom, I think.
But going back onto the loan spell. I think you scored was it 6 or 7 goals in 9 games or
Six
something like that?
in six in 8 starts and 6 in 9 appearances. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then you've gone back to Aldershot, and you've come off the bench a few times, and you started at the weekend as well. So
Yeah.
is this the since you started with Farnborough to now, would you say this is the longest period that you've had injury free? I mean, I know you cut your chin when you last came
Yeah, the Chelmsford
over,
game.
but
To be honest, no, my first, not senior football, but I had a when I was at Tooting, but not non-professional, I had a
mm,
clean slate of
mm,
injury-free football for many years. And then Charlton, until my head injury, was clean slate for 6 months.
mm,
And then even the season after that, it was a completely clean slate. I didn't get injured once, until I started getting the pain in my groins, and then I carried it through to the season where I had to just finally sit out. Um, but yeah, this is definitely in most recent times the longest stretch that I've had where I'm pretty much not pain free, because the games are physical. You get bumps and
yeah,
bruises, your muscles are
yeah.
sore, but where I'm able to fully exert myself and put full power into my game, yeah, I'd say this is the longest stretch I've had in a while. And I was really enjoying going Saturday, Tuesday games, because I love challenging myself, and obviously with my most recent injury history, it is a challenge to put my body under that stress. But I knew I had it, and I knew I put myself in the position to complete 90, 95 minutes
Yeah.
Saturday, Tuesday, which I did. So yeah.
And
Yeah.
what's it like? Playing under someone like Spencer Day?
I mean, I liked it. He let me play my game. Obviously he got to know me as the weeks went by, but
Mm,
as the weeks went by, he kind of just let me play my game, and enjoy it, take risks, um, chill, very chill, calm, going to the games calm, and I really enjoyed it. I loved it, and I know the boys do too. So
What's the difference between him and Tommy Woodington? Bit totally different, or different people, or sort of similar in some aspects?
they're similar. They both get angry, um, which is fair enough. In
All
terms
managers
of
get angry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, in terms of play style, obviously I know that we have the long throw and stuff. You have the long throw at Farnborough with Guy and Robbo when he's playing.
Yeah.
At Aldershot, we're more different. We don't really have that kind of strength in the box, so we try and play short whenever possible. Just for an example, because we're more efficient playing that way. Um, so yeah, the both managers play to the strength of their teams.
Mm,
I know Spencer liked Farnborough to play as well whenever we could, because we had the players for it. So, but in the league below, it's more like if you have to go long, go long. Whereas in this league, in the National League, you want to stick to your, I wouldn't say principles, because we had principles at Farnborough where we'd want to play, but you want to play whatever the pitch, whatever the condition.
yeah.
Obviously, sometimes you're not going to be able to play. Like York last week was a tough game. We actually completed more passes against Solihull than we attempted the whole of the York game last week. So some games it's just not going to work. But yeah. That's
Yeah,
it.
so it's all about, a lot of managers will say it's all about adapting to situations, isn't it, and things like that. And sometimes you
Yeah.
have to sort of tweak things slightly during games, etc., etc. So did want to ask you really, is Spencer a teacup thrower?
I mean, to be honest, I remember when I was in the changing room, like checking my chin out in Chelmsford game. He was pretty angry because of the free header. Um, but I wasn't in the changing room. I was next door with the physios, so I don't know if anything was thrown, but it was an angry dressing room from the management, which is fair enough. But that's pretty much it. I mean, otherwise, because apart from the Havant game on New Year's Day, I don't really remember because I think that's the only one we lost pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know he
Um,
was. We know he's
I
pretty angry
forgot.
after that game because we're in the players' lounge after it, and he wasn't best happy. So
He
Yeah,
wasn't happy.
so
No.
yeah, although
can't blame him, but
Eden got a bit of stick, I think, as well. But he's since
really,
gone back. Yeah, he went back and he's come back. Says he's actually Eden's
It's
looked a
been
lot better.
fantastic
yeah, he's
since.
been
Since he's come
scoring.
back.
He's been
Yeah,
scoring.
Yeah.
he's got 2
He's a
goals.
very,
He's trying to
very,
set
I
himself
very
think
good
I
a
player.
think
record.
it's because he knows his future now. I think it's giving him that confidence and
Yeah.
sort of got rid of the
Yeah,
uncertainty.
it's underestimated as a, maybe you guys don't see it, I don't know, externally as fans, but when you know that you're set in a place, it gives you that
Yeah.
confidence to go do what you
Yeah.
want to do
Yeah.
best. So yeah,
Completely.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
for players,
Yeah.
especially at Farnborough's level, because sometimes they're on such short contracts as well. But people want to, and I'm sure you'll probably feel the same in your situation. Players want somewhere to call, they can call home and not
yeah,
have to be
exactly. I mean,
moving on and on and on, around and around all the time.
yeah, that's why I think that's what I said in my last podcast on the shot spot. I was like, players just want somewhere where they can call home. I mean, it's very valuable for a player to know that you're here for 2 years. I don't know, your contract's 2 years. You can fully focus on that club. Everything is just kind of centered towards your performance on the pitch for that club. You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about looking for a house or a car
Yeah.
for that area or travel or getting your stuff from this house to move it there.
Yeah.
Just as an example. That's why the loan worked for me so well as well. I didn't, it's just pretty much around the corner, and it was a perfect. That's probably why I did so well as well. Like I could just fully focus on that. It was, as I
Yeah.
said, close by and
Yeah.
perfect loan.
It is one of the best clubs in the world, Hady. So that does help. But also,
Yeah.
and the fans are second to none as well, Hady. You know what I mean? It's us, not just us three. You know what I mean? There's,
No, all the fans. Like I remember the home and away games. I mean, you guys travel very well away as well, which is a big respect. So I remember the Boxing Day game. We had quite a few at Havant, and I scored that goal. And no, fans are without football without fans, as all the banners show in the stadiums, is
Yeah.
nothing. So
yeah. Yeah, I'd
we
say
all players really
you've done
appreciate that.
you've done pretty well actually, being but obviously Aldershot travel really well as well. Great fan base.
Yeah, no, all the
And
shot travel very, very well.
yeah,
And at home, like
yeah,
three and a
three and a
half,
half
four
thousand.
thousand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been really good. Yeah, I remember the
Yeah.
Eastleigh game, the Ebbsfleet game was a Tuesday night, and it was 3,200, which is really good.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that
for a
was
midweek,
yeah.
for
No,
the level, it's very good.
it's very good. I mean, you feel it as well. Obviously the East Bank behind the goal, terraced, you feel
Yeah.
the noise, and it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, good.
Do you enjoy the like the close relationship and the close contact sometimes you can get with the fans, especially at Farnborough, because Tom will know this because he likes grabbing everybody when you score a goal. But sometimes when you go over to that PRE end and the fans are leaning over the barriers and they're grabbing you
Yeah,
and
I love
hugging
it.
you,
It's
you
old
enjoy all
school.
that
Yeah,
sort of stuff.
yeah, I love it personally. I
So I can
love it.
imagine you don't get that. It's not like quite like that at Aldershot, is it? You can't get that close
To
to
be
them.
fair, it is. To be fair, like when you go to if you score if the boys score at the East Bank, they run over and there's fans over the
Yeah,
fence, and I love it personally. There's one thing I probably regret at Farnborough is I didn't go to celebrate at the PRE
yeah,
and when I scored. But I don't know. I just didn't really think about it
Yeah.
when I scored. I think it was the Truro game. I ran the other side.
No, the winner.
Yeah,
yeah.
I ran the other side. But for example, at Hampton, I went across the fans, and that was a great vibe. And
Yeah. To be fair, Hady, you've had a result
yeah,
there. You'd have got grabbed by Tom if you'd gone the other way. So you've
Yeah,
done
yeah,
yourself a favour, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tom
You,
is very
you,
handsy when it comes to when players
you,
score
you,
and they
you
come over
might
towards him.
You had another head injury if Tom had got hold of you. He just takes anything.
Yeah.
He tries kissing you and groping you and all sorts of things. You just got to be careful with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He can't help
Get
it.
that bird. You have that bird's nest of a haircut in your face as well.
Yeah,
But just one thing before we go on to our final question. Obviously, like the loan came to quite, I don't know what abrupt end. I don't know if that's the right word, but it came to an end. And it was a big shock to everybody, to all of us, the fans at Farnborough. How aware were you of? Because there's a lot of stuff going around on social media. A bit of anger towards
Yeah, I saw
Aldershot.
that. It's natural, I guess, but
I mean, were you aware of like the rivalry between the clubs? I mean, I think we've discussed it before, and I think the rivalry
yeah.
really is sort of between the fans, and I don't think the rivalry is really there as it used to be, because we're not of the same level as Aldershot.
Yeah, at the same level. That's the thing. I think if it was, if Farnborough, for example, were in the National League, I think it would be a lot
Oh yeah.
more
Yeah,
vicious
absolutely.
and intense. I didn't, like I said before, I didn't really feel that there was a rivalry. I think the two boards are pretty close. The
Yeah.
management are relatively close, and
And I think that's only
it's a
become
great,
more apparent in the last few years, really. We've had quite a few
yeah,
dealings with Aldershot with
yeah.
regards
Like
to loan
Tommy
players.
Willard was there last year, I
Yeah.
think, for a month, and
yeah.
Yeah.
We've had
I didn't really feel like there was a rivalry. I mean, I'm not the type of guy anyway to do that kind of stuff, you know,
Yeah.
to go to a rival. But I got told that 3 teams want me at Farnborough. One of them, I jumped at Farnborough straight away,
Yeah.
not thinking of anything of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
In terms of the loan, it did come abruptly to me, but it did come abruptly to me. So we played the Saturday at Hampton, and obviously I got the equaliser last minute. Sunday, I was just at dinner with my family. I got a call from Terry Brown saying, actually, I got a call from Spencer first saying that they recalled me, and then I was like, I didn't know. So I was like, well, what do you mean? Because I didn't hear anything of it. It
Yeah.
was like 8 o'clock on a Sunday night,
Mm.
and obviously that recall was with immediate effect, so I wouldn't be available for Tuesday. So then Terry Brown called me and told me the news that I'd be recalled. I've been recalled. I said, okay, fair enough. I mean, obviously I'm contracted to Aldershot, so it's
Yeah.
in their right to call me back. They said obviously I'll be in on Monday with them, but I asked if I could, because I knew I wouldn't play straight away at Aldershot, which is fair enough. They've been doing so well all year. I wouldn't want to just walk into the team. So I actually asked if they could redo the loan for another, like keep the loan going and then recall me after the Chelmsford game on Tuesday. So I asked to play the Chelmsford game just to get one more game under my belt.
Yeah.
And I asked Terry Brown to ask the gaffer, Tommy, and they were very good with it and very fine with it. And obviously got one more goal, and then they
Yeah.
recalled me one day after they started the loan again. So yeah, it came pretty, not as a shock, but it was a surprise. It was a surprise, I'd say.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
did ask to play one more game against Chelmsford, and luckily I got another goal. And yeah,
No, that's good. Yeah, no, that's good, and it's very good of Aldershot. Like I said, the last couple of years there's been a good relationship between the two clubs, like at board level
yeah,
and management level,
yeah,
that we're able to do these kind of deals with you, because
yeah,
like I said, the rivalry is generally just between fans,
Mm.
and I can't
yeah,
remember the last time we played Aldershot in a competitive league game.
yeah,
Really, it's been
Hampshire
a long
Cup.
time. We played them in the Hampshire Cup, yeah, but most of that time, Aldershot were sending down kids.
Yeah.
So it
yeah,
wasn't really sort of a big thing. But yeah,
I
like
think
competitively,
I,
league
I
wise, it's
think
not really
the
happened for a while.
I think the loan system. I don't know if you agree, Adi. I think it suits both clubs really well. Like
Yeah,
yourself, that you
absolutely.
weren't
no, it
playing,
does
so
very well.
you
It
know,
does
and
very
I
well.
think the difference in leagues is perfect, really, for someone like yourself who needs games, wants to come down, maybe stepping down a level is better for you. You can ease yourself in a bit more gradually, shall we say? Not this season because obviously the South's a really tough league, but it
Yeah,
certainly suits. I think it suits you for getting minutes. Suits Aldershot as a club because they can send players down knowing they're going to get game time and they're going to be in a good environment. It's only around the corner, and also when you go back to Aldershot from us. When they recall you abruptly at the last minute and stitch us up, then then I'm only joking. Then you're back and you're fighting fit, ready to go again. So I think
Yeah,
it suits everybody.
exactly.
I think
Yeah.
that's what it's the way to work the loan system, really. The only obviously
No,
downside is
yeah.
and the only downside is obviously when you got like Farnborough have got like 4 or 5 players on loan, any minute they could get recalled back, and then you're left a bit high and dry for the next game. But no, it's really good that you mentioned
Cooley.
about the Chelmsford game. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Cooley, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's got recalled, and we're sort of thinking, shit, we've got a game tomorrow night against Western, and we've got one on Friday, and
Yeah.
then one for who we're going to have in midfield. So but it's a chance. On the flip side, it's a chance for other players to play who are maybe
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
bench.
No,
So,
the management have recruited well. There's a good team. I mean, obviously Cooley's a huge loss. Just a regular in the midfield every game, but obviously you have Clarkey on loan from Wickham, Pendles, Salim in the 10, Rick,
Joe
Millsy up
Hay.
top, Harvey, Hish, Joe Haig, yeah, he was looking at older
Yeah.
shots. So the management team recruited well. I think you guys will be all right. You guys will be all right.
yeah,
I think
I think
with
we're gonna have a really good end to the season. I think they're gonna try it, aren't they? It's clear they're gonna try it for the playoffs.
You have to now. You have to
We're
push for
very
it.
close.
Yeah,
We're very
yeah, you
close.
have to push for it. Yeah.
Any chance you can come when Aldershot drop out of the playoffs? Any chance you can come over and play?
No,
I think
hopefully
the
we.
transfer window closes this week anyway. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it
got a few
does. It
days to make your
does.
mind up, Paddy. It's us or them. Come on. No, I think
No, hopefully we
Aldershot
secure
doing well.
playoffs, and
Yeah, you're doing
I
well.
mean
I
it
think
would
you'll make those.
be such a good achievement of the boys, and be so nice to give the fans. It's been a rough few years for Aldershot, so it'll
yeah,
be great to give the fans, a bit of joy and a bit of excitement to fight for getting promoted, not at the bottom end of the table, hopefully. And
yeah,
I'm sure the EBB will be rocking if we're in the playoffs, and they'll get us over the line. So
absolutely.
now, hopefully, we can do well, and Farnborough can make the playoffs too. And
Yeah, be great.
then you never know.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, hopefully
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah.
It's right.
No,
It's question time, Hady. It's question time. What's your question?
My question is: do you prefer Spencer's box behind the one striker formation, or the 3-5-2 with 2 strikers and 110?
Yeah.
Oh,
very good.
Well, that's a very good question.
Good one.
Very good.
I'll have to
We
think
will
about
pass that on.
I'll have to think about an
Yeah.
answer to that. It won't be any good if we're interviewing someone not related to Farnborough, but anyway, we'll think of something.
I'm sure they will be.
Or Alan, because he doesn't know nothing about football. He just plays 4-4-2 on the Football Manager. He's old school.
No, I don't. Right. I think I think we will end it there. Don't go away, Hady. We'll have a quick chat after we come off
of course, yeah, of course.
But thanks for coming on and talking to us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've really enjoyed watching you play for in the couple of months that you were with us. We hope and pray. We don't know what your situation is at Aldershot. I know you're pushing for the playoffs, but we hope at the end of the season that it goes well for you and the club. And that's literally the last nice thing I'm going to say about Aldershot. But in a selfish point of view, I think we would love to have you back at the club, obviously next season.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But obviously we can't.
We'll see. You never know. But I really appreciate you having me on, and yeah, it was good to open up about my time at Farnborough, because it was a great time in my career, and happy to be on and share that with you guys. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Hady, for the goals. Cheers, mate. I appreciate it.
No worries, thank you.
You talk really well as well. So it's always good to have a good conversation with people who know their stuff, and you've got a good football brain on you, I think, as well. So you'll do all right.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you very much for coming on. And I'll say this: if you come back to Farnborough, we'll start a chant for you.
Now, hopefully, if I can, I'll get down to a game and sit with the PRE boys. Hopefully, so
hopefully,
brilliant stuff.
I'll get down.
Tom's agreed that he'll get his your name tattooed on his bum cheek if you come back.
Please don't.
I don't think so.
He said he revealed it. He'll reveal it every time he scores. If you come back.
Surefire way of getting himself kicked out of the ground. Right. And on that funny note, with that, we'll say good night. Again, thanks a lot, Hady, for coming on. Boys, thanks for coming on again. It's been a great pleasure. Thanks to everyone that's listening. Thanks to everybody that will be watching this on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe as well to the channel, and we will see you all on the next episode.